Now, here's where the interesting part comes into play. Here's what happened next. I Maybe 4 or 5 days after the procedure, we went to go buy a Christmas tree. And at this point, we lived up in the Los Gatos Mountains. So we went to a Christmas tree farm to cut down a tree. We went down and cut down a tree, huge tree, I think it was 10, 12 feet, big tree. And, I was doing all the manual labor, the carrying of it and everything. I shouldn't have been, but I was. If I'm not mistaken, the doctor said take a couple weeks off of working out, and we'll kind of go from there. So I'm carrying the tree and everything. We get it all set up. Everything was fine, but that night, I think it was Sunday night, going over into Monday morning, I went to turn over in my bed. I went to roll over, and I was unconscious. I was sleeping, but when you go to roll on your side, you plant your elbow, and then you toss and you throw your body weight. Well, I planted my right elbow, and I turned, and I just felt this pop and this shooting pain right there in my breast area, right there in my nipple area. And it was this excruciating pain. And it's maybe 5 in the morning. And I just start screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm just screaming. My fiance is in the bathroom with the door shut. She's getting ready for work. And unfortunately for me, she has her headphones in. So she's, dancing, getting ready for work, got the music in, feeling good. And I'm just screaming, and she's not coming, she's not answering. And at this point, I'm just cuffing my breast, my nipple area. So I start taking the pillows on the bed, and I just start chucking them at the door. And finally, I'm sure she was freaked out. She comes out. She's like, "What's going on?" And I roll over, and I told her what happened. And she said, "Okay, yeah, just let me see it. Let me take a look at it." So I remove my hand. No visible blood leaking out, but it was what I later found out is a hematoma. So it was maybe a blood clot that broke loose from the area that he had worked on. It wasn't completely healed, and it was the most painful thing I think I've ever experienced. This, and then of course what happens after that to fix it. But the area starts pooling with blood. So my whole chest cavity, my right area, the nipple itself, it started to form into what looked like a teenage girl's, like an A cup. It was just swollen. It was huge. It started to come to a point. It was black and blue, and it was so much pressure that it was just, pressure brings pain in the body. So it was just so painful to the touch. I remember I tried to stand up, and that was the most painful thing, because when I stood up, gravity just kind of pulled everything down, and it was the most painful thing. I called my doctor, and got the answering service because it was so early in the morning. When I finally got a hold of him, it turns out he was not going to be in until about 3. So he says, "Come in at 3, and we'll take care of it." He says, "You'll be completely fine. Sounds like a hematoma. We'll fix it." So I go in, come 3 o'clock. I spent the whole day at home. I canceled my clients, and I just kind of dealt with the pain. And I went in, and I laid down, and what happened next was definitely, along with the initial, pooling of the blood, was the most painful thing I think in my entire adult life that I've ever experienced. He first says, "Okay, there's so much pressure, you won't feel pain, so I'm going to try to stick a big gauge in there and pull out some blood." So he's starting to extract blood, and he's like, "Well, I figured that wasn't going to work." So he's like, "We're just going to, cut open the whole thing, and we're going to have to drain it." So it's just me and him. There's no nurses. There's no Happy. My fiance's not there. I'm laying down, and he slices open the wound, and I still remember I could feel the pain. I was so numb, and the temperature. You could feel the blood dripping down your back as you're laying down, and the blood is just dripping out. And he starts. It was about a 20-minute process where he would take the area. Say here was my nipple. He just took the area and he literally massaged everything out. It was the most painful thing I've ever gone through. And the analogy he used, was, hey, it looks like cranberry sauce is coming out of your nipple, cranberry sauce, because it was starting to clot and everything. Um, it was excruciatingly painful. It was not a fun experience, but again, I trusted him. I knew he was going to do the right thing. He squeezed the crap out of it. He ended up washing it out with everything under the sun that he needed to wash it out with, including, he says local anesthetic is what he likes to wash stuff out with too. So after about 20 minutes of having it painfully massaged, he went and restitched it, and I was pretty much on my way after that. So after I went through that pain, I remember when I went in later to get the stitches taken out, I was not really afraid of pain at that point, because I had already gone through what I considered to be the worst thing ever. So, I went in to get the stitches taken out and whatever, just pulled them out. And, moving forward, he took great care of me. Can't thank him enough. But the procedure, more importantly, was successful. So I now have no gynecomastia in either of my nipples. And to touch on that, there was some in my right. So even though I didn't see any, there was still some formation in my right. And so he got that during the surgery. So we'll show you guys pictures of how it looks. And the fact of the matter is it's gone. And I have not yet competed without my gynecomastia. So I'm excited to see what happens when I lean down, because I've been in the off season for so long. I'm going to be excited to, when I do eventually lean down, I want to see what happens, how it looks. That's going to be the big thing that tells me whether or not it was a successful procedure, I guess. I'll know for sure once I get lean. So there it is, guys. There's the story about the gynecomastia. That's what I went through. And that's just a similar story that you could expect to go through, hopefully minus the hematoma part, if you are a natural bodybuilder or a regular bodybuilder who takes drugs and who wants to get rid of it. So, granted, you got to keep in mind, if you are taking drugs and you have gynecomastia as a result of drugs, and you get it surgically removed, I'm not so sure that means it will never come back. But as a natural bodybuilder, and with gynecomastia being something that I acquired through my teenage years, I'm hoping that it is something that never comes back. So I'm very excited to see, the change in my body, look in the mirror and not be so discouraged and disappointed. I really hope this video helps you guys out. It's a video that I was waiting to make, and this is a little bit after the 1 year anniversary of me getting the procedure done. So that way I can show you guys the progress of what it looks like a year after. And so, again, I'll show you guys some video clips of how it looks now, and pictures as well. And again, if you guys, don't be afraid of people who accuse you of having gynecomastia because of drug use. If you're a natural bodybuilder, the only thing that really matters is that you know yourself what the truth is. And, there's nothing against people who take drugs. I've never had any problem with that at all. So, it's unfortunate that people view it in such a negative way, and they say, oh, you have gynecomastia, therefore you take drugs. And that right there is a negative statement. Well, even if I did take drugs and I got gynecomastia from the drugs, that's something that I would need to deal with on my own, and I don't need you pointing the finger at me and telling me that, I'm a bad person or that I did something wrong. So just keep that in mind, guys. It's something that, especially in the natural bodybuilding scene, people look for and they criticize a lot. And if you have it, you're not alone. A lot of people get it. I had it, and I've got rid of it. So I really hope this helps. Feel free to ask any questions, message me for more details. And if I can think of any other details I want to add into the video, I'll just cut and I'll add some more details in for you guys. So thank you so much. This is a really personal video. Hope you guys appreciate it. And thanks for watching. Take care.